Hello to the camera and to the ether. Just a tiny bit distracted today because my my home country, the one I'm living in right now, is pretty much in an unofficial war with my neighboring country, being Pakistan. So just a little bit worried about, but I'm far away from the front line. But I'm still worried about what's gonna happen to people all over, especially people from my country, but people all over in general. But yeah, that threw me off a bit, and I don't know. I had the realization today that when I was speaking to folks from my college, I developed once again this something that I don't particularly respect about myself. I guess it's this lack of depth of character that's unable to admit that he doesn't know what he's talking about, and perhaps that's one of the issues that you get with repute, right? Once you've built up repute, you fear losing it, and that fear of losing it compels you to pretend that you understand even when you don't. So yeah, I think that's part of why I like the anonymity of this. That I don't tell anybody that I know that I do this, because I feel like even if I mess up here, it's not going to be held up against me. I can be brutally honest here and not fear judgment from my immediate environment. I aspire to be like that in some point in the future, but at the moment I am not as such. I'm still I still fall prey to the judgment of society. I still fall prey to my own judgment. But nonetheless, that's not what I wanted to speak about. What I wanted to speak about today is that power itself, or anything that's desired, is created from a void. It doesn't have any real meaning per se. Power doesn't have any real meaning. Power resides in, oh yeah, there's that Game of Thrones quote from Lord Varys, I think the Minister of Spiders, Minister of Whispers. Yeah, I call him the Minister of Spiders because his nickname was the Spider, but because he could build an intricate web of information. But nonetheless, the quote was that power lies where men believe it lies. And I think far too many of us do ourselves the disservice of thinking that we don't have power, that we externalize the voice that we listen to when we conduct ourselves in our life, externalize our goals, externalize our sense of meaning, whereas all of that comes from within. All of that is something that can be claimed from within, and that there is no true, objective, ultimate reality, except for the fact that there is no reality. And if that is the case, you get to construct the meaning yourself. And if you can construct the meaning yourself, why construct a meaning where you are disadvantaged, the where you are the weak? Why create that narrative? Build the narrative where you can build the narrative that makes you happy. For me, strength makes me very, very happy. For me, power makes me very happy. For me, I'd much rather be in a safer position in human dynamics, because I feel like I can take power and still be kind, but I can't trust the other person to do the same. I know it's, uh, it's a little egotistic for me to say, but so be it. I've come to realize that, oh yeah, only this morning I came to that realization that perhaps I've been stifling so much of my thoughts in the name of being more, um, perhaps more light. But I'm starting to learn how to undo that. I still wish to be kind and respectful, but not at the expense of kindness and respect to myself. Because if I am being kind to myself, then I'll speak my mind. If I'm being respectful, then I'll give my words the benefit of the doubt. So if I must be kind and respectful to myself, then I must speak my opinions. I must speak my opinions, but in a polite manner to the world. That shall remain, but no longer will I be, not even opinion. I shall speak what I want, what I wish to speak. Because opinions are often unnecessary. I'll speak when I want something. And that want will necessitate a response. And that response will come truly. That response will not come from this false sense of modesty where I don't believe that I deserve anything. Nobody deserves anything. Who are we to judge what anybody deserves? That is for the universe, and for the universe only. That right. Now that is not to say be unjust, but that is to suggest that in this world, so much of what we believe to be right and wrong are simply abstractions that stop us. It could very well be that the things that you had deemed so evil in your mind, like prioritizing what you think, speaking what you want, being perhaps confident in your abilities, so much of what you'd been taught as characteristics of evil men are indeed simply the characteristics of a healthy human being. Because a healthy human being is confident in their own abilities. They do not doubt to the extent of inviting anxiety. Yet they are mindful of the world around them. They do not hurt unless necessary. And that necessity is not something that's dictated by... It's not dictated by whims. It's dictated by logic and thought. Now, I'm experimenting with this idea myself, so I'm not so sure if I'm able to articulate it all that well, but the idea is that you stop living in this prison of your mind where you've already determined the outcome of what you're about to say, and instead say it and see what the hell is going to happen. Say it. Speak it. I wish to be an entrepreneur in my life. And I think I can do it. I think I will do it. I'll be a Renaissance man. I'll be a Swiss Army knife in a machete world. I'll be a Swiss Army knife in a machete world. And I'm saying this because so much of the self-talk is based around this idea that you shouldn't develop an ego. Now, that's not the case. Don't develop an ego that's Rather, you don't get to develop an ego unless it's based on evidence. Develop an ego based on the things that you are able to do. Develop an ego based on the trust that you're able to place on yourself. If respect is power, and you can respect yourself because you trust yourself, and you can earn your trust by being disciplined and consistent and doing what you say you're gonna do, then you're, over the course of building your own trust, you're building the power that you're giving to yourself as well. If you're giving yourself so much power, where is that power coming from? It's coming from the void. There's no power. There was nothing to begin with. But that confidence, that that belief in your capacity that you have, that's grounded in reality. It has strength now in the real world. It's not simply a figment of imagination. It's not a machination of fantasy. It is now something that you can wield in the real world. It is almost as though through thought and effort you have molded a sword from nothing. And once you've molded the sword, you can wield that sword. When it's simply unfounded confidence, that sword only exists in your head. Now you can threaten others with it. But the moment they brandish theirs, you have nothing to brandish. And you brought your fists to a knife fight. You're dead. In the sense that when you enter the real world, you better well have evidence to back up your confidence. That you have the hours, you have the effort, you have the achievements, you have the things that you have managed to do with the time that you've put in. That your confidence is not only in your head, it's something that's real. And what I'm saying is highly derivative of Alex Hormozy's idea of confidence not coming from affirmations being shouted to yourself to in front of a mirror, but rather it being based on the evidence, that irrefutable evidence that you've built for yourself. And part of building an irrefutable evidence for your own abilities is by sticking to them, is by saying, come rain or shine, the whole sky may fall down, but I'm doing this. I may die, but I'm doing this. I will drag my dead body across the finish line, but I'm doing this. And there's a kind of liberation in that. There is a freedom in knowing that you can trust yourself. There is a freedom in knowing that you're not your own unwilling captor. You're not a prisoner to your own whims and wishes. You do act on them. You do see the bright flashing lights of life and appreciate them and enjoy them. But you do so consciously. You don't do it mindlessly. You know what you're doing. And when you know what you're doing, it's very hard to be dissatisfied with it. Because if you know what you're doing, if you're conscious about what you're doing, then there's only two ways about it. You either like it or you change what you're doing. It's as simple as that. Because the moment you know, it's no longer a bad habit. It's no longer a habit. The moment you know, it's conscious action. And conscious action it can't be programmed to take you down a random direction. It's programmed to take you down the direction that you want it to go. And chances are, unless you're a masochist, your happiness is derived from actual happiness. So you take the path that you want to take. I hope I'm making sense to you here. So, a lot of different concepts are coming together in my head, and perhaps I'm not able to spell it out all that well, but nonetheless, it makes a lot of sense to me that the key point is to be conscious for this, because life is passing by as you breathe, and the only way to make most of it, the only way to not lose too much of it, is to decide where you want to lose it, is to decide in which experiences you want to lose it, and that decision can only come when you're conscious. So take a deep breath. Savor it. This moment is never going to come back, and it's lovely because of it. You choose every day how you decide to spend the rest of your life, and you make that choice every day. Make sure that that choice is worth it. And don't let yourself be guided. Don't let your choices be guided by all of the thoughts that you hear around you. Let the choices be guided by what you value in your life, what you feel will give you the most joy. Because we're unique human beings, but we're human beings nonetheless, who fall prey all too often to this idea that someone else has got it figured out for you. Nobody can figure it out for you. The process of figuring it out is what makes it so fun. So enjoy it. And on that note, I'm going to go enjoy my process of figuring it out. So good night to you, to the camera and to the ether. And Faz, whenever you watch this.